Hi, everybody, and welcome to our new Google Hangout. First Tuesday of every month, we're going to be bringing in guests from the city to talk about key issues, and they'll be hanging out with us. Hanging out with us right now is Benna Murphy. She's the HR administrator for the city of Las Vegas, and she's got some really great news if you're looking for a job, how to possibly land a job with the city of Las Vegas. Before we get started, I just want to remind everyone that when this is completed, we're going to record it and we'll put it on our city Facebook. We'll have more on that first. But first, Benna, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
First of all, I think one of the most important questions is how do people out there even know if we're hiring? You know, things have been a little rough for the past few years, but we are actually hiring now.
We are, and there's a couple things that you can do to be successful. First is go to our webpage, lasvegasnevada.gov/employment. They can fill out a job interest card. Also follow us on all of our social media sites, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. We post all of our job announcements on those sites.
When people are applying for a job, and you know this very well because you've been in the biz for a long time, what would you say are some of the most common mistakes people make?
Probably the biggest mistake is failing to give us 10 years of employment history. We include all gaps in employment, such as school, attending school, gaps in employment. The other is attaching certifications, driver's licenses, attaching them and recognizing them on their application. And then finally,
That's okay.
Finally, detailing and matching their work experience and giving us a detailed description of what they're doing
and how it would work best,
how it would apply to
the
position that they're applying for.
Can you expand just a little bit on the gaps, why that's so important? You want to make sure you're not hiring someone that, I don't know, was in jail for a couple of years. You just want to make sure that all the time is accounted for, even if they took a year off to travel.
Absolutely. We commonly ask for 10 years of employment history so we can see a person's career path or their pattern or what kind of longevity they have on their career at their current job. And we're okay with gaps of employment. Sometimes people leave to take care of a family member. Sometimes they're going to school to get certifications, and that's fine, but we need to track that 10 years so we can actually see what they've been doing and where they've been exposed.
Okay. Now, once you've applied for the job, how does the process work? Because the wheels of government sometimes move slowly, and so I know you don't want people to lose patience and go look for something else if they're the candidate.
And that's the best thing to do is be patient. It does take time for us to review all our applications and screen them and go through them. One of the best things that the city does is we communicate with all of our applicants regardless of whether or not they're going to go forward. Additionally, they can look at their application profile and check their applicant status, and we will provide status checks to every step of the process, whether they're scheduled for a test or an interview, performance exam, or if they don't meet the minimum qualifications. And that will be updated routinely. And also in support of our sustainability, we do notify candidates electronically. So I encourage all of our applicants to check their spam and junk mail.
Okay, you don't expect something in the mailbox to come to you.
Correct.
Okay. Now, how can you set yourself up for success once you've gotten to the point where perhaps you're coming in for an interview?
Two things. Best is be timely, always. If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Second is always dress for success. Even if you're not coming for an interview, the written test, backgrounds, dropping off certifications, paperwork, because you'll never know who you run into at City Hall.
That's right.
And sometimes these hiring managers are part of the process. Sometimes they're in the department. Sometimes they're in the lobby. And they'll have that exposure to you. And if you always make a good impression and you're always dressed for success, it's the best tip.
So if someone is coming by who may end up being your supervisor, you'd rather them see you, even if you're going to be in a uniform for the job. When you come in to take the test or take the test, make sure you look clean and professional. You don't want them to remember you as that girl in the flip-flops and
absolutely.
tank top.
It doesn't always have to be suit and tie, but business casual. Always be dressed and be prepared.
Right, and they're a little more understanding here in the middle of the desert. You don't have to come in necessarily in a suit and tie as long as you look professional.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, let's say you go through the interview process and you don't get the job. What do you advise people? What are your options?
Again, be patient. Because of the government cycle, some of our eligible lists are good for up to 2 years. And so as vacancies occur, we refer back to those lists. And so departments can come back to you for an interview 6, 7, 8 months later. So the fact that you weren't selected in the first go-round doesn't necessarily mean that there's no opportunity for you. Secondly, apply for everything that you think you're qualified for. There's no limit on the number of applications that you can have in the system, and we only accept applications at the time of an open recruitment. So if you see a posting on our social media sites, please apply for it. And third, create your profile in advance. Take the time to list those duties and describe in detail what your work experience is, and that will help you be prepared when these announcements come up, that you're already ready to go, your information is there, and just submit.
Okay, so if I apply to be a producer, and I don't get that, and something comes up for a photographer, and I want that, do I have to redo the whole process, or just do any kind of updates?
You'll go in and actually apply through that
Okay.
job announcement. But ideally, if your profile is already ready on our employment page, you just access that profile, update any information that's changed, add any new certifications, or tailor your certifications for the photographer job.
Okay.
And then it will automatically populate into the system, and you're ready to go. You don't have to wait and retype everything all over again.
Okay, so typically it's application. If you clear that, then it's interview. If you clear that, then maybe you'll be one of the final candidates.
Right.
But if not, hang in there, because it doesn't mean that you're not
Absolutely.
qualified. It just means that, you know, there's only so many openings.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like I said, those lists are good for 2 years, so we always refer back to them. And then finally, do the interest cards. Follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, or social media accounts, because we post all of our jobs there. And sometimes they're open for a very short window, and we don't want you to miss any opportunities. And those interest cards are a great way to automatically get notifications.
Okay. And is there a better place to work than the city of Las Vegas? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So go online, make sure that we're hiring, and once you figure that we are, get that application in there, because there really is no other better place to work than here. You got a hard job. You have to go through an awful lot of applications and whatnot when we have an opening, because it is a popular place to work.
We do, but the best part is making that phone call and extending an offer.
That's
and then
great.
seeing those faces around City Hall. So it's very rewarding.
Okay, then thank you so much. Really great information, and you can always go online, or as Dennis said, follow us on all of our. We have to get used to saying that now on all of our social media, and keep track of what's going on here. So maybe you can be a part of our team. So thank you again.
Thank you for having me.
And we want to remind you one more time that this Hangout is being recorded, and it will be available on the city's Facebook page, and that is at facebook.com/City of Las Vegas. We will see you for the next Hangout at City Hall, and that will be on July 1st. And thanks to Jennifer Davies and our great IT department for always being here for these.